Hey, my fellow adventurers, RVers, peoples out there. No, that's really stupid. Anyway, hey guys, that's how I really like to start my videos and podcasts. And I'll tell you briefly why. Years ago, never mind. I'm not going to bore you with the little stuff. I want to talk about stuff today. And I mean like all the stuff, the physical stuff, not the personal stuff, not the emotional stuff, not the mental stuff. Like the stuff, the 10 spatulas, the 20 soup spoons, the 50 wine glasses, even though they were cute and cheap. I want to talk about all of that today. So if you got your wine, join me on the sofa and let's chat for happy hour. So you're moving into an RV or thinking about it, or really anything smaller than a mansion. Well, somehow you've got to decide what to take with you. And that means one thing: getting rid of stuff. And listen, I don't just mean taking a box to Goodwill like once a month. I'm talking about seriously clearing things out, like Marie Kondo on steroids. And I'm not going to lie, it is intense and it is overwhelming, and it can leave you questioning why exactly you thought you would ever need 6 sets of mixing bowls, 8 spatulas, and 30 wine glasses, no matter how cute or cheap they were or how much you had to have them. I've been there. I was there a year and a half ago, kind of actually in a similar place now after sitting stationary for a while. But anyway, here's how this whole stuff thing started. But for me, about a year and a half ago, there I was staring at all of my worldly possessions, taking pictures of them, making videos of them. I was planning to go from a 1,200 square foot apartment down to a 400 square foot RV. And let me tell you, when you do the math on that, it's less than a third of the space. I realized this wasn't going to be a maybe I'll keep my options open kind of downsizing. It was going to have to be a ruthless purge of literally all things non-essential. And I still ended up having a storage unit because apparently I've got some attachment issues with some of this stuff. But I am working on it. Just baby steps, right? But let's be honest here. Part of me knew in the beginning that I'd end up keeping a little stash of things just in case. You know, like that nagging voice that says, what if I suddenly need my old collection of vases or every single one of my holiday decorations, even though I don't have room for that ginormous blow up elf dude outside of my trailer. But there's something about our stuff that just seems to hold us hostage, doesn't it? Like, when was the last time I actually used those giant pasta bowls that I had to have? But I think I may have only used one time. I mean, how often am I really going to host some sort of spaghetti feast for 12 people in my RV? I'm not. And here's the thing that I've learned after living small for a while now. You really do start realizing that you don't need most of it. I mean, you really, really don't. And the funniest part about it, you don't even miss it. I mean, I don't remember half the stuff that I got rid of. You learn to get picky, real picky about what earns a spot in your home, in your RV. And my current rule is basically this: if I'm not using it on a regular basis or it doesn't serve multiple purposes, then it's out. Even my clothes have to go through the test. And let me tell you, nothing can make you question your life choices like sorting through a closet full of questionable fashion decisions from years past, especially when you're hoping to fit in them someday and they're from 1975. But that's the reality check when you're rolling in some sort of tiny home, an RV, whatever. So when I started the big downsizing, I started with the big items, the furniture. Easy peasy, right? My RV came with furniture, although I've since swapped out pretty much all of it because, we've got standards around here. So my couches, my tables, my bedroom set, they all had to go. But then came the smaller stuff, the sentimental stuff, the knickknacks, the things that come with a side of guilt, even if you think about donating them. Like the little bits and pieces that we somehow attach our entire life story to. I mean, tell me if this sounds familiar. You're standing there, you're holding a random item, asking yourself, do I need this? Or do I just feel like a horrible person for letting it go? It's like breaking up with a high school boyfriend. You know that you don't need them. You know that. But somehow you still can't quite say goodbye. And that note that you wrote just isn't going to cut it. Plus, the dude in between, you and him, could totally get it and read it out loud to the entire class. But speaking of unnecessary attachments, let me tell you a little story. And maybe it'll help you understand where I get mine from. Once upon a time, I made a rookie mistake of telling my mother that I thought that little big chef guy, from years ago was super cute. The one that used to be on like every towel, oven mitt, and kitchen knickknack about 20 years ago. Well, she took that comment that I made and totally ran with it. Every single birthday, every single holiday, there was something new that she found with that chef dude plastered on it. By the time I told her I'd had enough, I had more chef-themed kitchen decor than a cafe in Paris. I literally just had to sit her down and say, Mom, the chef and I are breaking up. We are no longer an item. And she moved on, as mothers do. However, it was moving on to her husband's obsession with Coca-Cola. And let me tell you, now, after 14 years, they've got an entire museum's worth of Coke stuff. I'm talking everything from antique bottles to random trays to a literal wall of Coke glasses that they don't even use because they're for displaying. And every time I see that, I think maybe this is why I chose to live in an RV. It's kind of like I'm rebelling against the collector gene, right? Try not to be my mother. But at the same time, it's kind of freeing to let go of stuff. I'm realizing now that our stuff is like luggage that we keep dragging from one life phase to the next. And sometimes we don't even know why. It's just there, weighing us down, keeping us anchored to who we used to be rather than who we're trying to become. And it turns out the less stuff that I have, the lighter I feel. I mean, who knew that decluttering could double as therapy? It's still hard in the process, but in the end, it feels great. So here's the thing, folks. The next time that you are staring down that closet packed with clothes from 5 years ago, or the drawer of old birthday cards you're never going to read again, ask yourself, does this serve me or am I serving it? And if the answer is serving it, maybe, just maybe, it's time to let it go. So my friends, that's my scoop for the day. Downsizing is a wild ride, but I can honestly say that I don't miss the clutter one bit, or the other 28 wine glasses, because I'm keeping 2, Living smaller just gives you room for the stuff that actually does matter. And if I can figure this out, then you guys can too. So here's my challenge for you. Take a look around your own place. Find one thing, just one, that you have not touched in ages, and ask yourself, do I really need this in my life, or am I just keeping it out of habit? If the answer is no, then let it go. And definitely drop a comment below and tell me what it was that you let go of. Or better yet, tell me what the weirdest thing that you're holding on to is. I would love to hear that. Let's swap stories and laugh about all this random nonsense together, because that's what we're here for. And if you happen to be loving this downsizing journey, RV life, midlife chaos, and you want to hear more tips, more stories, more thoughts, and maybe a little bit more therapy on why we cling to so much stuff, then definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button. I have got so many more adventures and possibly more embarrassing confessions coming your way. So until next time, let's keep it light and keep it real. Cheers, my friends.